the Oregon Ducks because they were the biggest winner of the weekend. 30-24, double OT thriller over Penn State in a whiteout. Steve, that was an impressive win.
Yeah, and I'm hearing, talking to some sources around the Oregon football program, that the noise that was piped into practice to prepare the Ducks for this environment was louder than what they experienced in State College, and they were able to get their play calls in the huddle, and now certainly still went on a silent cadence during the ball game. Incredible environment. Penn State battled, but Oregon was able to pull out a win, the biggest win any program has this season. Two teams that could very well see each other again in the college football playoff. But this one certainly resonated with the Oregon recruits. Talking to Messiah Hampton, who's from New York, who chose Oregon over Penn State and others, called it legendary, best team in the country, real deal. Bryson Beaver, quarterback commit, to tune into a Big Ten powerhouse like Penn State, beat a team like that is huge. For a team to be able to overcome a comeback like that on the road, a place like Penn State in a whiteout game is amazing. The Coach Lanning post-game interview, they all loved, but his reaction, this is what Oregon commits expected. And they love this coaching staff, the way they prepare this team to play, the way they maximize this roster. They get young kids on the field. You got Finney starting in the secondary. Brandon Finney, he at one point looked like he was going to flip from Oregon to Penn State. Oregon keeps him in the fold. He's in the starting lineup for the win. DeCorian Moore, De'Air Hill, Jordan Davison, a lot of super freshmen on the field there for Oregon. I talked to five-star edge rusher Anthony Tank Jones. He was at A&M when I talked to him. But he said, hey, showing they're coming for that natty, building that program better every year. I think he's going to be tough to flip. Manny Iheanacho, the jewel of the class, five-star from Baltimore, obviously reported early in the week that he was going to be at Penn State. The Nittany Lions were going to get another bite at the apple. I think Penn State actually canceled that visit because they know they're not a player. Heard around Thursday, the communication about the visit died down, and he wasn't going to visit any longer, so he wasn't there. Cornerback Devin Jackson was there from Florida, but he says his recruitment shut down and he's committed to Oregon. The other flip target in Oregon's class right now is Jalen Lott. Texas is still on the gas for him. Number 2 athlete in the country, number 31 player in the land. He's a Lone Star State native. He's a Texas legacy. His dad was a track and field standout, also played football there, was an all-conference player for the Longhorns on the gridiron. But everything I'm hearing, it's still good for Oregon. So Texas would still have work to do to flip Jalen Lott for the Ducks. So the win resonated for what's in the fold for Oregon to date. Certainly wins like that remind these kids that continue to hear from other programs why they picked Oregon, what they love about Dan Lanning, how they utilize their players, how they're able to go into an environment like Penn State, one of the top teams in the country, and knock them off and really show resiliency. There was a time where they were dominating the game. They were up 2 scores, 17-3. Then Penn State found a rhythm. So much so that when Oregon scored in overtime, I thought that they should go for 2 to end the game because I didn't think they could stop Penn State. They kicked the extra point. Then they get the leaping interception by Indianapolis area native Dylan Thieneman to seal the deal. Big win for Oregon. Now they're on a bye week. They're going to spend a lot of it recruiting. And then they host the Indiana Hoosiers at home in Autzen Stadium in 2 weekends for another top 10 showdown for Oregon, 2 in a row.
Yeah, we're going to see if we can send you out. We got to see what the Wiltfong Whip Around budget is, but I'd love to get you out there and do a live recruit reaction show. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, though. That would be fun. We'll work on that. But you mentioned some talented freshmen that got some burn, actually that not just got some burn, made huge plays in this one, including Jordan Davison, DeCorian Moore. But let's turn the page on that. Oregon Ducks are fighting for a number 1 class right now. Is there anybody on this current commit list that you think could make an impact next season for Oregon?
Yeah, I think you look at Manny Iheanacho right away, 6'7", 380 pounds. He is someone that is physically going to walk in to Oregon's football program and be someone that I think can play. And it's a tough position to play early at, but I think he has the traits to do so. They got some special players in this class at other positions. Jet Washington is a rangy safety, 6'4.5", 200 pounds. That can cover a lot of ground in the secondary. Kendry Harrison, a 6'6", 250-pound tight end. That's one of the top high school football players in the country.
Mm-hmm.
And Davon Benjamin, he is Rivals' number one ranked cornerback. He is already basically in the kind of reminds me of Caleb Downs when Caleb Downs committed to Alabama. He's already immersed himself in learning Oregon's defense, having regular conversations with Coach Lupoy, Coach Hampton, Coach Lanning, and the staff, so he can be best prepared mentally to come in and understand what they're trying to execute, to give him a chance to get on the field early. Obviously, there's a lot of great players in this class, guys like Messiah Hampton, who we talked about, that I think have the traits to come in and play early. Those are the guys that come to mind right away.
All right, Steve, let's wrap this up by talking about the impact from this win and what's next for Oregon recruiting.
Let's talk game time. College football and the NFL are in high gear. The Major League Baseball playoffs are upon us. I'm looking for my tickets to a wild card series right now. We need our tickets, and getting deals on the last minute tickets can be frustrating when all you want to be is there when your team runs out on the field. Well, thankfully, the Game Time app gives the advantage back to the fans. It's the hack for unlocking amazing ticket experiences, and it only takes a few simple clicks. The app is easy to use, and the Game Time guarantee means you can trust that you'll get 100% authentic tickets on time at the best price. Plus, fees are always included, so what you see is what you pay. And that's why I use Game Time. It's super simple, and it makes the experience of buying great seats a breeze. One of the coolest items on Game Time is the lowest price guarantee. It's where Game Time will credit you 100% of the difference to guarantee you're getting the lowest price if you find cheaper tickets elsewhere. So here's what we're going to do. If you haven't already, download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the promo code Wiltfong for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. That's Wiltfong, WILTFONG, on the Game Time app. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. Well, obviously, I think for Oregon and what they're trying to do with their roster, the focus is on roster retention at this point, right? They have a lot of really good young players that they want to keep in this program, continue to develop them so they can play championship football for years to come. I think on the recruiting trail, defensive tackle is, well, before we even get into that, then keeping the guys they already have committed in the fold is a priority, and I think they're doing well for that. So you have roster retention, keep the guys committed in the fold. And then there are some needs still out there in the 2026 class that starts with defensive tackle. I think if they were drafting their next player, it would be a D tackle. I could see them competing on the modern recruiting front for a said defensive tackle. So guard your commits if you're out there. And then I think that they would, they're looking for some skill players, particularly at wide receiver. And I think those are going to be senior year evals, guys that aren't household recruiting names, but guys that are having really good senior seasons that they think are good enough to play at Oregon, that maybe don't come with the modern recruiting tags that a lot of these blue chippers come with, So that's where Oregon recruiting's at right now. Retain the roster, retain the class, find another premium defensive tackle, and then get some value guys, some guys that are really good that want to come to Oregon and play on that stage and prove themselves, that are having really good senior seasons.
All right, Duck fans, talk to Steve and I. How are you feeling throughout that game? So many ups and downs, momentum changes. Were you on board the whole time? Did you ever doubt it? Talk to us in the comment section below. Huge win for the Ducks.